Chosen one. Stop and listen. There is a sign rising in your life, a shift in the unseen realm, and when it appears, nothing will remain the same. Your spirit already feels it. That is why you are here. It is like the silence before the storm, like the trembling of the earth before a great eruption, like the breaking of dawn after the longest night. This is not coincidence. This is alignment. And the fact that you are hearing these words is proof that your steps are being ordered. You have felt the shaking. You have seen pieces of your life fall apart. You have wondered, why does everything feel uncertain? But hear me. Uncertainty is not punishment. It is preparation. There is a hidden language in the spirit. God speaks through signs, patterns, and shifts that most people ignore. But you are not most people. You are a chosen one. And when this final sign manifests, it will confirm everything you've endured, and it will unlock the season you have been waiting for. Stay with me until the very end, because the last truth I will reveal is the one most chosen ones miss. It is the one that changes everything. And before we go further, I invite you to act in faith. If your spirit bears witness that this word is for you, like this message and subscribe, not as routine, not as ritual, but as a prophetic declaration that you are stepping into divine completion. Chosen one, prepare your heart, because the journey begins now. The first sign that everything is about to change is the stirring deep within your spirit. It begins quietly, like a whisper in the wind. It is not loud, but it is unshakable. You feel it when you wake up in the middle of the night with no reason. You sense it when familiar places no longer feel like home. You know it when your heart beats with an urgency that you cannot explain. This stirring is heaven's signal that your old season has expired. Like seeds buried beneath the soil, you feel pressure on every side. The ground presses against you. The darkness surrounds you, and yet something inside refuses to remain hidden. The seed is breaking open. The roots are reaching downward. The shoot is pushing upward. This is why you feel restless, because the spirit inside you is breaking through to a new reality. The prophet Jeremiah once said, "His word is in my heart like a fire, shut up in my bones, and I am weary of holding it in." Jeremiah 29. Chosen one, that fire in your bones is not confusion. It is not anxiety. It is the announcement that destiny is drawing near. But here is the mystery. The stirring does not come with clarity. It comes with questions. You may be asking yourself, why do I feel so unsettled? Why do I no longer fit where I used to belong? And the answer is this: because your spirit is aligned with a future your mind cannot yet comprehend. The stirring is heaven's way of pulling you forward before you even know where you are going. It is like the wind pushing the sails of a ship before the map has been unfolded. It is like the sound of footsteps in an empty room, reminding you that you are not walking alone. Do not mistake the stirring for chaos. Do not misinterpret it as weakness. The very restlessness you feel is proof that the Spirit of God has marked you for transition. And hear me clearly. When you feel this stirring, it is not time to run back to what is comfortable. It is not time to bury your feelings and pretend nothing is happening. It is the time to lean in, to listen, to allow yourself to be carried by the wind of the Spirit. Think of Mary, the mother of Jesus. The angel appeared and announced a new season she did not plan, a destiny she did not choose. Her heart was stirred with both fear and wonder, and yet she said, "Be it unto me according to your word." That is the posture of a chosen one when the stirring begins. So I ask you, what has been stirring inside of you lately? What restlessness has refused to leave? That is not a mistake. That is the Spirit announcing that change is near. But if you thought the stirring alone was powerful, wait until you see what comes next. Because when the stirring grows too strong to ignore, the next sign will break into your life with undeniable force. The second sign that everything is about to change is the disruption of the familiar. It is when the life you once knew begins to tremble, when the structures you leaned on collapse, when the places that once felt safe no longer carry peace. Do not misinterpret the shaking. It is not a curse. It is not punishment. It is heaven's way of rearranging your path, removing what cannot remain, so that what is eternal may finally stand. Think of the earth itself. Before a mountain rises, tectonic plates beneath the surface collide and groan. Before a seed breaks through soil, the shell must crack. Before dawn arrives, the darkest hour always comes first. So it is with your spirit. The shaking is the sound of breakthrough. Look at Israel in Egypt. For generations, they lived in a place that was both blessing and bondage. Egypt gave them food, shelter, routine, but also chains. They prayed for freedom, but when it came, it did not arrive gently. It came with disruption. It came with plagues shaking Pharaoh's kingdom. It came with death passing over the land. It came with a Red Sea that had to split in chaos before they could walk into promise. Do you see it? God disrupted everything they knew, not out of hatred, but because He loved them too much to let them remain bound. And the same happens in your life right now. That friendship that broke, that opportunity that slipped away, that place that no longer feels like home. These are not accidents or failures. They are holy disruptions meant to cut ties with what cannot travel with you into destiny. It is written in Hebrews 12:27, the removing of what can be shaken, so that what cannot be shaken may remain. That is why it feels so violent, because the Spirit of God is tearing down what is temporary, so that your eternal calling may stand unshakable. I know it hurts. You cry out, "Why is everything I trusted falling apart?" But let me ask you, would you still chase destiny if Egypt never let you go? Would you step into promise if comfort had kept you asleep? Sometimes heaven has to break what is comfortable, so you awaken to what is eternal. The disruption is not the enemy. The disruption is the doorway. It is the cracking of the shell, the rumbling of the plates, the storm before the calm. And though your flesh resists, your spirit recognizes it. This is why you feel torn, because the old is ending, but the new has not yet appeared. Do not run back to the familiar out of fear. Do not try to glue together what heaven has already broken. If the Lord allowed it to be shaken, it cannot carry the weight of your future. Release it. Grieve if you must, but do not cling to ruins when a palace is being prepared. Hear me. This disruption is a sign. It is heaven's announcement that your story is being rewritten. The collapse that scares you today will become the foundation of your testimony tomorrow. Lift your eyes from the rubble. Stand firm in the shaking, though everything around you feels unstable. The one who called you is unshakable. And yet, the shaking is only the beginning. Once the familiar falls away, heaven begins to lead you into something even more mysterious. Not into clarity, but into hiddenness. Not into comfort, but into wilderness. And it is in the wilderness that the most sacred work of transformation begins. But are you ready to hear what the wilderness truly means for a soul set apart? The third sign that everything is about to change is isolation, not chosen by you, not forced by people, but orchestrated by heaven. You begin to feel separated. Conversations that once flowed now fall silent. Circles that once welcomed you no longer fit. Places where you once belonged now feel foreign, and you wonder, why am I alone? Why has everyone disappeared? Hear me, this is not rejection, it is preservation. The wilderness is not a prison, it is a sanctuary. It is the place where heaven silences the noise of the world so you can finally hear the whisper of God. Think of Moses, raised in Pharaoh's palace, trained in Egypt's wisdom, yet led into the desert for 40 years before his calling was revealed. Think of Elijah. After fire fell from heaven, he was driven into the wilderness, where the Lord spoke not through wind, earthquake, or fire, but through a gentle whisper. And think of Jesus, before he healed the sick, opened blind eyes, or carried the cross. He was led by the Spirit into the wilderness. The wilderness is where the chosen are formed. It is where your spirit is sharpened. It is where distractions die and destiny begins to speak. I know the loneliness hurts. I know the silence feels heavy. You scroll through your phone and no one calls. You walk into rooms and feel invisible. You pour out your heart and it seems no one understands. But listen, you are not unseen. You are hidden. There is a difference. To be unseen is to be forgotten. To be hidden is to be protected. God hides his treasures until the appointed time. A diamond lies buried in the earth before it is revealed. A seed rests in the soil before it sprouts. And you are hidden in the wilderness because your season of revealing draws near. Do you remember Hosea 2:14? The Lord says, "I will allure her and bring her into the wilderness and speak tenderly to her." That is what he is doing with you. He has pulled you into the desert not to destroy you, but to romance your soul, to whisper secrets he could never tell you in the crowd. The wilderness strips away the voices of others, so the only voice you hear is his. And though it feels like emptiness, it is fullness, his presence wrapping you in silence. Do not despise this isolation. Do not curse the solitude. In this hidden place, you are being prepared. Every prophet, every apostle, every messenger of God walked through it. Now it is your turn. You cry, "Why do I feel so disconnected?" Because you are not being called to fit in. You are being called to stand out. You wonder, why am I alone in this season? Because heaven is separating you from the crowd, so when the time comes, your voice carries clarity, not compromise. This wilderness is not rejection. It is refinement. The fire of isolation is shaping you into a vessel that can carry glory. But listen closely. The wilderness is not only silence, it is also warfare. For when heaven marks you in secret, hell also takes notice. And the next sign comes not in whispers, but in attacks. The fourth sign that everything is about to change is the sudden rise of unexplainable attacks. When your spirit begins to stir, when the familiar is disrupted, when the wilderness isolates you, that is when the adversary takes notice, because the enemy senses what heaven is about to release in your life. Attacks come from places you never expected. People you trusted may turn against you. Opportunities collapse at the very moment you thought they would rise. You may feel resistance in your health, in your finances, in relationships, even in your own mind. Do not be surprised when this happens. The enemy does not waste energy on the ordinary. He targets those who carry extraordinary destiny. He sends storms against ships that hold treasure, and you carry a treasure within you that terrifies darkness. Think of Job, a man blameless before God, yet suddenly struck with wave after wave of loss. His wealth collapsed, his children were gone, his body covered in sores, but heaven had not abandoned him. The attacks were a sign of how set apart he was. The enemy asked to sift him because he carried glory. Think of Paul. Everywhere he preached, resistance rose up. Beatings, prison, shipwrecks, betrayal. Yet he declared in 2 Corinthians 4:8-9, "We are hard-pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair, persecuted, but not abandoned, struck down, but not destroyed." The attacks in your life are not proof of weakness. They are proof you are dangerous. They confirm you carry something powerful enough to shift atmospheres. Have you noticed the patterns? Sleepless nights, sudden heaviness without cause, unexpected arguments, losses, delays. These are not coincidences. They are fiery darts designed to distract, drain, and discourage. But hear this: no weapon formed against you shall prosper. I know it hurts. You wonder, why me? Why does life seem harder for me than for others? Because your assignment is not like others. Your destiny carries weight. You are called to stand in places where others fall. The enemy would not fight you so fiercely if you weren't carrying something holy. And the fact that you are still standing, even after everything, is the greatest evidence of your calling. Yes, you've been hit. Yes, you've cried. Yes, you've wondered if you would make it. But look at you, still breathing, still seeking, still chosen. These attacks are not the end. They are the announcement that your breakthrough is near. The storm always rages fiercest before it breaks. The night is always darkest before the dawn. The enemy always shouts loudest before he loses his grip, so take courage, lift your head. If the warfare has intensified, it means heaven is about to release what hell cannot stop. And yet, there is one final sign, one most people miss. It comes quietly, almost unnoticed. But when it appears, it confirms the season of change has arrived. Are you ready to hear the last and most powerful sign? The fifth and final sign that everything is about to change is sudden alignment. It does not arrive with warning. It does not announce itself with trumpets. It simply happens. Doors open where walls once stood, paths clear where obstacles once blocked your way. For a long season, you may have felt delay, prayers unanswered, dreams on hold, opportunities slipping through your hands. But then, in a moment, everything shifts. Conversations connect you to the right people. Doors swing open without effort. Resources you lacked suddenly appear. And the timing feels so precise, so exact, that you realize it could only have been orchestrated by heaven. This is alignment. The moment when heaven's calendar meets your life on earth. It is not something you force, not something you chase. It is something you step into because God Himself has set the time. Think of Paul and Silas in prison. Chained at midnight, they lifted their voices in worship. The walls shook. The doors flew open. Every chain fell to the ground. They did not force their release. They aligned themselves with heaven through worship, and heaven aligned the earth to set them free. That is what sudden alignment feels like. Prison doors opening without keys. Gates of opportunity swinging wide without effort. What seemed impossible yesterday becomes inevitable today. This is why the waiting was so long. The delays were not denials. They were divine timing. The stirring prepared your spirit. The disruption broke your foundations. The wilderness refined your soul. The warfare proved your resilience. And now comes the moment when everything aligns. Isaiah 60:22 declares, "At the right time, I, the Lord, will make it happen." Not when you wanted, not when you planned, but at the appointed time. And when that time arrives, no demon in hell, no opposition on earth, no delay in the natural can stop what heaven has set in motion. When alignment comes, it feels like breathing after drowning, like sunlight breaking after endless rain, like the missing pieces of your life snapping into place. You may ask, but how will I know? The answer is simple. You will know because it will not be forced. The striving will cease. The endless pushing will stop. And things will begin to flow with a grace you cannot explain. Alignment is not the end of the journey. It is the threshold. It is the doorway. And beyond that doorway lies the revelation you have been waiting for. The truth that ties every sign together. So pause for a moment. Breathe in this word. You have walked through stirring, disruption, wilderness, and warfare. And now, you stand at the doorway of sudden alignment. But this is not the finish line. This is the beginning of destiny. And the revelation that comes next will unlock everything you have endured, everything you have carried, everything you have hoped for. Are you ready for the final truth? The truth that changes everything. Now we arrive at the moment you were brought here for. You have walked through the stirring of your spirit. You have endured the disruption of the familiar. You have faced the loneliness of the wilderness. You have resisted the unexplainable attacks. And now, you stand at the doorway of sudden alignment. But here is the revelation you must receive. Everything you endured was not punishment. It was preparation. Every tear watered the soil of your destiny. Every loss carved space for new beginnings. Every silence taught you to hear His whisper. Every battle sharpened your spirit for victory. The final sign before everything changes is not only outside of you. It is not just circumstances shifting. It is the shift within you. The sign is you. You have been transformed in the fire, molded in the hidden place, purified through trial after trial. And now heaven declares, the one who enters alignment is not the same as the one who began the journey. This is why the enemy fought you so hard, not because of who you were, but because of who you are becoming. And now, as you stand on the threshold, the Spirit whispers, "You are ready." Do not fear the future. Do not cling to the past. The same God who stirred you, who disrupted you, who hid you, who defended you, is now the God who aligns you with destiny. Your survival was not random. It was proof of your assignment. Your story is not ending. It is beginning anew. Declare these words with me now. I am chosen. I am preserved. I am aligned with divine timing. Nothing can stop the destiny of God in my life. Let this be your seal. Let this be your declaration. Let this be your act of faith. And if this word has confirmed your spirit, do not leave without responding. Type Amen in the comments as your decree of agreement. Like this message as a sign of alignment. Subscribe not as routine, but as covenant, as a prophetic act declaring, "I will walk in my destiny." The signs have been revealed. The truth has been spoken. This is your confirmation. This is your turning point. Everything is about to change, and nothing will ever be the same again.